So guys, for outbound integrations, we are actually using REST messages. For inbound integration, we were using Table API. Table API is actually direct web services. Direct web services in the sense you are directly creating record on target tables. You are directly creating records on target tables. Is that right? Yeah. So you are directly creating target records on target tables, right? Which is not a good practice. See, usually, as I have told you, when you are actually importing the data should go to first staging table. Through the staging table, that has to go to target table. So similar way, the data has to go to ServiceNow system. Okay, clear, right? So in that case, what we have done, we went for import set API. Yesterday, we had actually discussed about import set API. Okay. So to create an import set API, what I have done here, I have created a staging table first. So how do we identify the difference between staging table and target table? So how do we identify that? Okay. So to identify the staging table and the target table difference, we have one thing here. So what is our staging table name? U underscore create incident, right? This is actually staging table data. Okay. Here, if I open staging table, right click, configure table. This is also similar to table, but if a table is extending imports at row table, that is called staging table. If a table is extending imports at row table, that is called staging table. That is actually the difference between staging table and normal table. In the staging table, data will be stored temporarily. Okay. Why do we have to have the staging concept? There are multiple reasons. Whatever the data that is coming into ServiceNow system, that can be duplicate, that can be invalid, that can be some messy data. So what we do, we will first keep somewhere. If someone is coming to the CM home, what they does, they will actually check that person in the CM room. There will be a checking room. So they will actually check everything. If everything is fine, only then they will actually send him to the CM office. Similar way into the ServiceNow system also, whatever the data that is coming, they will not directly allow you to send you to the CM office. They will first ask you to sit in the lobby. They will check you, and then they will ask you to go inside if everything is good. Similar way, whatever the data is coming into the ServiceNow system, first they will keep it in the staging table. Staging table is here nothing but lobby. So there they will check everything. Whatever the data that we have got is correct or not. Using transform map, we will understand that. So if everything is fine, then only we will allow them to create record on target table. So, okay, tomorrow the third party guy will actually come. I have sent this request, but in the ServiceNow it is not updated. So where do you check? So in the staging table, you can check whatever they sent, that will be stored in the staging table. In the staging table, you can clearly check what they have sent. Even if that guy it says like I have sent this one, no boss, you have sent this one, you can clearly show them that in the staging table. For tracking purpose also, it is useful. That is actually about staging table and target table. So we can identify the staging table which extends import set row table. So the table which extends import set table is called staging table. Staging table is also called as temporary table. These tables are used for staging purpose, and we can use this staging table for tracking purpose as well. After that, after you create a record on the staging table, right, immediately transform app will run. Through the transform app, you will create a record on target tables. Okay. Okay. So what we will do, we'll just understand. We'll just understand. In the transform app, do we have deletion concept? No. Then by default, there is no delete option available in the import set API. By default, there is no delete option available in the. Hope you guys got it. There is no delete option available in the import set API. So then what we will do, we will use transform scripts here. Using transform scripts, you can delete those. You can delete the records. Okay. So here to delete the record, yesterday, I think we have created a business rule. Yesterday we had created a business rule. Let me just go to the incident table. So whenever you delete this record, right? So what will happen? To delete the record, we'll have to set separate flag. We'll have to set separate flag. So here, right, in the staging table, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new field here in the staging table. This is also string type. Delete. Okay. So this delete flag I'm going to use here in the set string parameters. So before that, I have to provide it in the scripted REST message. Sorry, REST message. Okay. Which is ours? This is the one, right? We'll open this one. So we always use post method for update, delete, create here in the import set API. This is the only one which we are using. So here you will actually keep. We have to use this format, guys. U underscore delete dollar DEL. Okay. So in this business rule, where is the business rule? This one, right? DEL. Okay. So here I am not passing any dynamic value. Delete true. Okay. So before delete. So here in the transform map, what I'm going to do is, in the transform map, I am going to create transform script. Transform maps. Okay. So this is the transform map that we are using, right? Okay. Here I am going to create transform script. Which one do we have to choose? Either we can use on before or on after. Either of them we can use. I am going to use on before. Okay. So here, right, we have actually source object available, target object available. Source object will have external system details. Okay. So now what I am doing here, if source dot u underscore delete equal to yes, sorry, true. End source dot u underscore incident ID not equal to empty. Then what we will do, we will write glide record here, where gr inc is equal to new glide record. Using glide record, can we delete the records or not? Extra security. Only one record should be deleted. Okay. Delete the record. Okay. Clear, right? Now I am going to create an incident here. So you created a record here, and that record is created in the external system. You updated the record here, the short description as network here, category as network here. So this record should be updated, category should be updated. See this record. Okay. So this category is not updated. Huh? So we did not check update checkbox. Is it? We had checked, na? I think yesterday we had checked that update checkbox. This one update checkbox is checked, na? Let me just change the short description here. Short description is getting updated. We'll quickly test category. Category field mapped or not? Category mapped or not? Category not mapped. Huh? Category not mapped. That is the reason. Yeah. Okay. Now we will delete this record. We will delete this record. Okay. So if I delete this record, this 10026 record should be deleted in the external system. I deleted this particular incident. Okay. Now here, if I refresh this one, this record should be deleted here in this incident. So record is deleted here, right? So how did I delete this record? In the transform app, I have written script to delete the record. Here, remember one thing, you cannot use after here. Current object is not available when you delete the record. Okay. So we understand how to create the record, how to update the record, how to delete the record using both table API and import set API. So here in the import set API, how do we do the validations? How do we do the validations? So let me just tell you some examples here. So now here I am going to the incident table again. I'm going to create an incident record here. Incident.list. Okay. I'm creating a new incident record here. If you closely take a look at here, Abed Fath. This Abed Fath is actually Abed Fath, this Abdul Salim. So these users are there in my system, but these users are not there in the external system. In the transform map, we have choice action as create, reject, ignore. Whenever the caller value that we are receiving, if the caller value is not there in the external system, if a new caller has to be created, means you have to select choice action as true. Here we'll go to the transform map here again. If you go to the transform map here, we have mapped the color field, right? So choice action. If you open the field map here, you can see color. So whatever the value that is coming from the external system, if that value is not there in the target table, we have to create the record. That is what mentioned here. So what I am going to do here, whatever the value that is coming from the source system, if that is not there in the ServiceNow system, what we have to do, I am defining here in the source script. Okay. So how am I defining here? if source dot u underscore caller. Okay. Then what I'm doing here is I'm writing glide record here. Glide record on user table. Whether the record is there in the user table or not, I want to check here. Where gr user is equal to new glide user, sorry, glide record. Gr user dot get. Okay. Then return this one. Fine. If that is there in the system, pass that SysID. Else, what we will do? Okay. If the caller is empty, you can pass empty value. If the caller is empty, if the caller is there, then you have to check the user table. If the caller is there, not there, you have to pass empty. If you notice one thing in my table, caller is a mandatory field. Definitely the caller will come. So no need to write this else part. Okay. No need to write else part. Here also this if condition is not required. Here you can write else here. Else return empty. Or you can keep some any guest user. So guest user SysID you can take here in the user table. There will be guest user. So I'm taking guest user SysID here. Okay, whatever the caller value that I am passing, that value is not there in the ServiceNow target table, ServiceNow target table, user table. Then what we will do? We will actually pass the guest user SysID. Okay, so this is also a validation. Okay, the source script what I have written, the field mapping source script what I have written, whatever the caller that is coming, if that caller value is there in the ServiceNow target table, then that is fine. If the caller value is not there in the ServiceNow target table, then we have to use as guest user. So let me just save this one here. So I am going to create an incident here as Abed Fath. Abed Fath record is not there in the target system. So it is creating a record. It will create a record in the external system. It should create the record in the external system caller as guest. Okay, 10027, right? So caller as guest or not. So Abed Fath record is not there here, right? So Abid Fatih's record is not there. That is why it is created as guest here. Okay. Suppose channel field is actually mandatory field here in this incident table. In the target system, channel is mandatory, but they are not passing channel. For them, the channel is not mandatory field. For them, channel is not mandatory field. Here, the channel is mandatory field. So we have to check whether they are passing the channel field or not. If the channel field is not there, they should not create record. So in that case, what we will do here, will in the transform map, we'll create another transform script. We will create another transform script here. That is actually on before only. Before transforming only, we have to check. So what do we do? If source dot u underscore contact type. We did map it with contact type with channel, right? Equal to empty. That means it is a mandatory field in the system, right? So from the source system, if they are not passing, we have to stop the record creation. So how do you stop the record creation? Ignore is equal to true. And you can also keep another extra security here. Action equal to insert. While creating, definitely channel field should not be empty. It is a mandatory field here in this incident table, right? Then here we are actually checking whatever the value that is actually coming is empty or not in the while creating. Then we will keep ignore is equal to true, and we'll keep status message. Record not. Okay. Now, while creating this incident record, now let me just create this incident record. I'm not passing contact type value here. Okay, it is none. Here I am selecting here as Abdul Salim, category as this one, test 6, assignment group this one. So here it should not create a record here, as you are passing channel value as empty. I'm just creating the record here. Well, what is it telling? Here it is telling record not processed as contact type is mandatory field. That is the status message that we have kept, right? Same status message we are able to see here or not? What is the status message? Record not processed as contact type is mandatory field. Row transformed ignore by before script, on before script. You did not create the record because you did not pass the mandatory field. Now what I do, I am just passing. Here it has created the record, but it has not created the record there. So this guy will ask tomorrow, I have created this incident record. This has not created incident record in the external system. This guy is not sure there is import set API that is running in the background. This guy is not aware. Who is creating the incident? You are the responsible person who has to answer him. Boss, you have not passed this mandatory fill. That is why I did not create record here. Until and unless you explain them, they will not be able to understand it. That is why you have to make the forms user friendly. User friendly means everybody should be able to understand. Clear? Okay. Now this time I am going to create a new record. So now it will create a record here. We are all passing mandatory fills, right? Why is it taking too much time? Hmm? Maybe. That is why I told you, right? We have to go for async. So it has created the record here. Okay. So if I delete the record here, that has to delete there. If you update here, that has to update there. Whatever you made changes, that has to go there. Okay. So now you deleted the record. So incident record would have been created with a 10028. That would have deleted already. So where do you check the deleted records? You have to go to deleted records here. See, this incident record is deleted. Okay. So how do we use import set API? Why do we use import set API? You guys are clear, right? How do we do the validations and all? We can do the validations using on before transform script only, because that will run before the transform map. Before the row transformation, the on before transform script will run. Okay. So validations, how do we have to do the validations and all? You are able to clear, you are able to understand, right? So you have to use ignore is equal to true, status message or error message you can use. So in the transform scripts, you can write glide records, you can write all the server side scripting, right? Okay. So that's all from today, guys. That's all for today. And if you guys have any doubts, you can ask me.